Jamie's brief summary for Part 15.
It defies the laws of creation how man deprives the animal's offspring of the universal right and freedom to live by brutally snuffing out their life even before they see the light of day.
August 8, 2014, 8:52 p.m.
Good day, and a good evening, little tortoises, for those whom still think they escalated from the frog and toad kingdom, and goodness knows what else. We are the Mancharians, and we have verily come to teach of our prodigy, those age-old simple truths of evolving past the infancy of their youth, which at times is a somewhat most difficult task, indeed. Now, a request has once again come in, and this time we are asked to deal with the animal topic of baby chicks, and their surroundings. Eggs hatched with impunity, for once the chicks do reach the crowing stage of their first legs on the ramp, they are swiftly taken away and regrown into a somewhat of a digestible program, for those waylayers, whose own grandsons have grown well accustomed to the eating of their beaks, their flesh, and even their guts and toenails. So this is what you feed your beloved grandsons and granddaughters, ye croaked ones, one and all. Sick to the stomach, do ye make me, as we bespeak ourselves, within the absolute tenure of oneness today, oneness tomorrow, and the future will certainly take care of itself, with you ones at the forefront destroying all life forms, to the palate of your care. Below, you cry. Without impunity. Well, what on earth is the difference to what is done to the duckling babies, than what the Western culture does to their baby chickens, as they say down there in Canada? Take for instance, the Baloo babies, dear little snaked ones, of our own heated at times flesh and bones. You are all a disgrace to our culture and to our very beings, and how we wish you would even react a little to the horrendous plight of your own fellow creatures, whom we gave you exactness over, than just sitting there at the windown of your own delight and caring for naught but that of your own winnowing, stomach fluids and croaking, for the next undietary meal. The Baloo, as you call them, have little beaks, little already formed legs, hips, and seasoned beak tongues and feathers. Tongues most likely, you say? Not really, little diamond in the very rough, but when you bake them alive you always cut the throat of the diaphragm, and the skin takes on a swift resemblance to those fine tongues of yours, which you utilize to taste with, their flesh burned to a crisp, in such fashion as one would feel if it happened to them. The ducklings face a fate, worse than the worst death imaginable, in all terms of their instinctive prowess toward your own ill-imagined fate, should you ever be reincarnated in their place, and who knows among you what will one day happen, when you eat the ruminants of a little beast who never did you any harm.
At this juncture, may we show you a video clip to illustrate the horrors that the poor chicks, in this case, go through before slaughter. The Mancharians continue.
But then you are monsters, the majority of you, so what do we expect? The so-called heretics in the brine of water or oil, during the times of the ravaging of souls from the Catholic Church, but they don't do that anymore, do they, loves? Caroline Simpson Graham. Really, Caroline Graham? Now think of just what you are saying, will you, lass? The prodigy of the Catholic Church still survives, and is being turned out like oil on a cauldron, for who do you think eat such standards in the Middle Ages? The Baloo ducklings. As they say, dear ones, damn you all. This is not what we created for you to do, with the offspring of our creation, just because they do not resemble you in looks and.
Where are you?
We are looking for an appropriate word, my love.
Then I will wait.
Ah, now, here we are. We have found it. Stature. They do not resemble you in looks and stature, so you think and do the opposite to that, for which we created you to emulate in our footprints, as our coordinated offspring of our past to generate far into our future. Our pride in ye ones have far diminished, lads and ladies, for your overall outlook on the creation we have so loved and formed, through many of our test tube experiments of long ago, coordinating shellfish with diamonds and cubic zirconia, with other shell life and pearls with the oysters was, and is found wanting. It is bad enough, quite frankly, and to always tell you the idiom truth factor about, that you mislead the adult animals into thinking you actually care for them. But you take of their very souls, soul structure in grabbing their offspring, their babies, and boil them and roast them alive, without another thought. So here is the reason for the cooking mercilessly of the Baloo factor, being the remnants of human, so-called, and really, tongue-in-cheek, Catholic persuasion, but what hails the diabolical frying and slicing alive, of all those baby chicks, cutting into their very nerve endings of their beaks, when they are just climbing out of the shell, awaiting a great experience of a brand new day and incarnation? Well, let us then look at the so-called Christian culture, shall we, hey? All you down there in Mercy Mercy land, south of the Canadian border? What do you have for lunch? Jesus never once took the beautiful fish out of the oceanic waters, and gave them to the likes of any of you reincarnated fools, whom have lost their entire ability and capacity to think, for your Lord God was not only a vegetarian, but practiced the food reality of the world he actually came from, and the ships in the heavens proclaimed his arrival, along with many other lords, ladies, and masters, delivering them directly into the sequence of all those, so-called people whom in some manner or another, bethought to themselves that mayhaps, they did deserve a little reprieve from distress and wanton desires. Well, you attributed to Christ a life of a monk, which he definitely was not. For he was a simple man just like the norm on a world, far advanced from your societal structure, and ridiculousness. And when we explain simple, we mean our lives are unencumbered by the frost and cold heat ye ones tend at too many times, upon delivering unto the God's creation, which we all made with our very hands, eyes, tongue, soul, and wanton love for all humanity and creatures, of which many of you have proven to be of the lowest of them all. Ye Christians are taught, in your churches and synagogues, are ye not, to drink the sacrifice of blood, to offer up blood to one another, and to God that patriarch, whom was once said to digest his own dinner with relish, even at the expense of the flesh-eating creatures of another? You are taught with rapidity to eat the flesh of even a human creature, and to celebrate it? And you think you Christians have won over on the skull and bones of your era? We thinks not, my dear crazed fools, for even the skull and bones epic begins and stops with the eating of flesh, the tube of blood for sacrifice is enough. Good day. We are so sickened by what you have done to our creation fashioned by not only our own stamina and hands, but those hands also of our own forebearers, the Mancharian trup, and true sons and daughters of our very loins, whom we have gathered around us through ages past including this one. Those of you, therefore, who are ours to begin with, please coordinate around the simpletons of this planet, and teach them the simple truths of just how to behave among all other creatures. And that will be all. Thank you, Euthyrnia, Rainia, and coordinate this work with others as we will. Jamie, take the lead in the veracity of all Hemingway writs in a quote of the day. We give to you our frequent tie-off position, good lad. Edit this with precision, dear Rainey, and please remember not to eliminate out of our writings, any of the tiny keystrokes between and after words such as these ones. Activate not your brains to overdrive, little seasoned ones, but rather keep your life simple, and your food intake even simpler. Good night to those of you who would sleep. We are the Mancharians, and we love you who love us. Bold this sentence please, Jamie, our lad. Tie off time element, please, Euthyrnia. Good night, and good evening for those of you, who are just getting ready to sleep. Coordinate all factions at a midriff of 10.45, Euthyrnia, and tie off Jamie that which we will summarily give you, tomorrow of our day, your time element as of now.
Tying off circuit frequency at 9:43 am, August 8th, in the Gregorian calendar year of 2014. Midriff circuit wavelength telepathic frequency coordinate tie-off cauldron with 10.45. Out.
Tying off for the Mancharians at coordinates 4 set diams at 9:46 am. Over and out.
Scribed by the hand and pen of Euthyrnia Sela Sentana-Ries Cortez.